What's up everyone, welcome to another episode of Books and Beers. Hopefully you enjoyed Falcon's last video reviewing The Richest Man in Babylon. Had to pick it up. But today I decided to read more or less a similar book. A book that's very influential, a classic. It was written 2,000 years ago and it is still relevant today. And that book is The Art of War. So very famous book, very thin as you can see. There's a bunch of versions. My version has 96 pages and it's annotated, it has some notes. Since it was written so long ago, it has many things that need explanation. So I think I'll tell you guys my 3 top takeaways from the book that apply to the business world today. And finally, whether it's worth a read or not. So let's go. So one of the biggest points which I've seen in other books is that war in general is very expensive. Back then it was very expensive as well. It takes a lot to hire 1,000 men, purchase weaponry, and in 0 to 1, written by Peter Thiel, he also mentions that you should not engage a competitor just to engage a competitor. You should try to build a different product, create a monopoly of sorts, and lead that market and just grow your product. Because what Sun Tzu says in Art of War is that if you engage a competitor just because you're salty or you have something personal against them, the war is going to drag on and on and on. You should only engage if you're sure you're going to win. If not, you shouldn't do it because it's expensive, people are going to get tired, resources are going to get depleted, and it's just not worth it in the long term. And I think of Apple. Obviously there's a bunch of computers and smartphones competing against them. But at the end, Apple's products are so different and the ecosystem is so different that it's just hard to compete against them. That was a very good point. So before I get to the second point, shout out my sweaters. They're drying. I gotta dry them. If not, they shrink. But second point, very cool one. If you're a Miami Heat fan, Duncan Robinson said this when they were in the finals against the Lakers, and it's burn the ships. That means that when you're going to war and you're going in a ship, once you get to the land, burn the ships, because that way there's no way you can go back. The only way you can survive is by winning the war. If you take out that exit, if you take out that alternative, and you only focus on the one thing, which is winning, you're most likely going to win, or at least you're going to improve your odds. He said that meaning that we already got to the finals, we got to burn the ships and just go all out. Sadly, they lost. But yeah, that's the main point. Matthew McConaughey also mentions it in Green Lights. When he wants to become an actor, he calls his dad and he tells him about the fact that he doesn't want to be a lawyer, he wants to be an actor. And he's surprised by his dad saying, that's fine, just don't half-ass it. Go all the way, burn the ships, give it all you got, do the best you can, and succeed. It's easy when you're doing something just to do it, to go with the motions and get it done. If you really like what you're doing and you want to be successful at it, you should burn the ships, give yourself no exit, give yourself no alternative, and just give it all you got. A lot of successful CEOs, one thing they say is that they never thought, like no matter what happened, they never thought they were gonna fail. Whenever some problem came up, they did all they could to solve it, because in their heads, making their business a successful one was the only alternative. They burnt all the ships. Pretty cool idea. So last but not least, very controversial one, but I thought it was cool, is that spies get you important info on the enemy. So obviously he was talking about it in a war setting, sending a spy to get information to the enemy camp or to give wrong information about what they were doing. So obviously nowadays you have to respect privacy of others, and I can mention ones that Sam Walton, I haven't read the book, but Sam Walton used to go to his competitors, his competing discount stores, and he would take down the price of what they were selling. He would use it to make sure that he would get a better deal from the suppliers and get a lower price. So, I don't want to say spying on your competition because it sounds illegal and wrong, but, keeping an eye on your competition, seeing what they're doing right, what you can replicate or do better. And also, if you can lure someone away from your competition that does something extremely well, that obviously helps. Warren Buffett had a failing insurance business and he lured one of the best managers in the insurance world, and he completely turned around the business with what he knew from working in the competing insurance business. So, you know, keep an eye out for what others are doing, and maybe not so much spy in the competition, because I'm sure there's laws against that, but keep an eye out. So Art of War, should you buy it? I'm not so sure. I would pick up a more contemporary business book. It wasn't my all-time favorite. I think it has some good points, but I didn't love it. I think there's some books out there that are better for business, more contemporary, more relatable, such as 0 to 1. So definitely, if you want to pick it up just to say that you've read Art of War, definitely do it. It's only 96 pages, but if not, go look for a more contemporary book. I would give it a 3.5. Good average book, classic, but you know, it was written 2,000 years ago, so it has its limitations. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe, and we'll see you next week for another video. Peace.